हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं विकम्तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिप्रतिदेवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So very nice to be with you all after a very enthusiastic and very wonderful Janmashtami celebrations, which all of you all very nicely took part in, and I'm sure you're all enlivened by the whole experience. Can everyone hear? Yes. Can everyone hear? Can hear? Okay. Otherwise, we'll come closer. There's a lot of space. I won't eat you.
Another small request, guys, any mobile phones and everything, just switch it off. No disturbance for the next 1 hour.
So,
You can take photograph video, no problem.
Actually, this program that we are holding here at Janmashtami, we bring so many people together, and we give people a chance to actually again, or rather, probably for some people for the first time, experience a festival which has been celebrated in India for years and years, a very ancient festival, but is gradually getting lost in the milieu of so-called materialistic progress and civilization and communications and entertainment. Actually today, before I was coming here, I was discussing with one, and we were just sitting down and talking with one devotee who's come from Australia to staying in Hebrew right now. He's a musician by nature. He is a pianist, he's an accomplished musician, vocalist, things like that. So he was telling me, he said the scene in Australia is so bad in terms of social life, in terms of people's personal life, in terms of how people are behaving in those areas. He said just a couple of months ago, his friend from the primary school, whose parents are both lawyers, committed suicide. Okay. His brother, he comes from a well-to-do family, and you can understand if he spent his whole life being educated in music, so a family can support that. So he's come from a nice family like that. He's about 25 years old now. He says his younger brother is, he's come from a well-to-do family. His younger brother spends his time, most of his times, with his friends, like thugs on the streets of Australia or some railway stations and things like that. They get the fun of beating someone up and robbing someone up, or just things like that. And you know very well, just a few days ago, what happened in England, the looting that took place. Are you aware of this? Towns after towns were just being looted. Of course, originally it started with some black revolt against so-called white suppression or some abuse. Some black person was beaten up and he died probably. And then that town erupted, the black people there protested and they went on the streets and did a lot of burnt up buses and all that. Then spread to other cities. Now, this did not remain with the black community only. It's just spread to everyone, and the hoodlums, especially the young people, just took advantage of that and went and rampaging all the shops and malls and everything what they were doing, and they picked up whatever they could. Just stealing basically. And it took the whole of England by surprise. And just a few days before that, you must have heard about that shooting that took place in Norway. 81 or so people were shot by a person who's a fascist by a student who thought that the European governments are becoming too lenient about different cultures being allowed to grow in their society. So he just started shooting people now to bring that point into the society, into governments. So these are a result of years and years of a materialistic civilization which has no touch with true spirituality. This is a result of blinded materialistic advancement that is taking part in all these worlds. And mind you, India is only 20 or 30 years behind all this. What we are seeing today was what was going on in America in the 70s and the 60s. The fashions, the middle class people being able to afford cars to drive. This was not there in India before. In our small towns that we used to live in the early days, the person who had a car was really a rich man. He couldn't afford a car. Today, every middle class person has a car. Now, even a lower than middle class person has at least a vehicle. Okay? Now, these are symptoms. Then, secondly, the industrialization of India. I don't know if you know that India is in the process of at least increasing, what to speak about all over India, just the state of Chhattisgarh is going to double India's iron ore production. Whatever we are producing all over the country, Chhattisgarh alone will double it. We are on the verge of doubling or tripling our electricity production. And similarly with all other things except agriculture. And you can understand that there's going to be tremendous pressure on our environment when we're doing this. There's something like 200 dams being made on the Ganga. By the time Ganga reaches Allahabad or whatever it is, I think it won't be there, it won't be flowing. It practically stopped flowing. As you can see, Yamuna doesn't flow between Delhi and Vrindavan. So the more of this, and this is going to create tremendous pressure on the society, tremendous pressure on our value systems, because we will have to struggle more for the basic, very, very basic necessities that we take for granted today. The very basic necessities of freedom of time, having time to do things, places to go, relaxation. Mind you, as these things progress, you will be hankering for fresh air. There was a time, I think our Kishan will remember, Manipal was so much fresh air. You know, remember going this way down and those places? We should just go for walks. When Kishan was in school, okay, right? You know, and there's so much fresh air. And now, in Manipal, it's difficult to get fresh. I remember Mangalore was a great place to walk. Great place. We used to love walking in Mangalore. Now it's impossible to walk in the streets. So, why I'm trying to tell you all this is that you are the people who will face it. And you will be a part of all this bursting of so-called economy or all this. You will be a part of all that. And the pressures, you see, when you invest a great amount of money to produce electricity or iron ore or whatever it is, you have to recover the cost. Not just recover cost, you also have to make profits. It is the burden of that is going to come to you all, directly or indirectly. Can you get the point? Are you understanding the point? Because you all will go to the industry. It's just a simple example. You know the Damodar Valley project? There's a river called Damodar in Orissa. Okay? And there is great amount of coal available in that area, belt. Now the river Damodar is so dirty. The boiler is there, practically filthy. When you say Damodar Valley project, you should only think about a black river, stinky river, or I don't know if you can call it a river. And people are having to live there. Companies are having to live there and work there. Transport coal from different places from there. Thermal power plants are coming up there. It's a huge thing that's going on. It's one sad thing about, probably no one really talks about the Damodar Valley. But if you visit there and understand and study what it was and what it is today, you see what we've lost. Now all this burden of all this is what you all are going to face. There is increasing demand for any free space in the city. There are no parks now in the cities. Gradually it's disappearing. What to speak about, past, I'm living in Belgaum 15 years ago. There's so many parks in Belgaum. And it's over. The whole city was like a garden. You just walk. So much greenery. Today, I struggle to take a walk in Belgaum. I can't find a place to go. There's a small park within all kinds of traffic in between, and somehow there's an 800-meter track around it, and I need to keep taking turns and rounds and rounds. I can't walk. Now, in this circumstance, which you all are going to face, how are you going to take it? Your values are going to be questioned. You will have to compromise on your values. You have to compromise on your food. You will have to compromise on your rest, sleep at night. You have to compromise on the way of standard of living that you have. The relationships that you will have with your family. And what is that? What is the result of this? When these things have pressure, when you have this pressure with you to relate with your family, spend time with your family, you have to spend more time traveling, more time in offices, trying to earn, trying to work for the company. What is the result of this? Divorces. Divorces. You cannot. I'm surprised, at a time when my generation, my brothers and all that, divorce has become common. Divorces in India, which is so rare, it's become a common thing. My friends, my brother, all divorced. And divorce is not a nice thing. Those who go through a divorce will understand what it means to go through such a trauma. Not just for the people, the couple, but to the children that are involved, the parents of the children that are involved. And a lot of times people become, take to some addiction as a result of that. Go over it. So therefore, you are in this situation where you will have to be in a society like that. And mind you, now we are trying to, in a little humble way, we are trying to educate you about what is coming up. Okay? But mind you, most of your partners or girls that you hope to marry or will marry will not be trained in this way. They would not have a BYS probably to train them and help them out. Isn't it? Are you prepared to deal with such people? And mind you, as you grow older, you get fixed up in your ideas. You don't remain so flexible as you grow older. Until unless you are spiritual. As you grow older, you become more hardened in your habits and your methods and your ways you do things and the ideas that you have about the world. Even if you want to change, sometimes you can't change as you grow older. I know because I am now on the other side. I'm just a little bit away from being called old. But the fact is that it's becoming more difficult for me to now adjust it. The body doesn't cooperate much. So therefore, we are trying to help people to understand this point. It's human relationships which is finally getting compromised in all this process. It is, and what is it that gives us happiness actually in life? Human relationships. Right? It is human relationships that gives us happiness in this life. Gives us a way to go ahead. You will not find time to spend, just like you have now some time to come, sit for a satsang, listen, chant the holy names. It will not be there. And mind you, one of the biggest things that you will be caught up in is loans. You will all be caught up in loans. And people say it's a great thing, take a loan. Take a loan. You get what you want. Rinam krita pitri satru. Matre sa behucharini. Bharya rupamati satru. Putra satru apundita. This is what Chanakya Pandit says. Rinam krita pitri satru. A father who takes a loan is an enemy at home. Why?
Frustration.
Sorry?
Frustration.
Yes, because constantly your mind, you're at the back of your mind all the time, that is one thing ringing with you. Repay the loans, get your installments going, get your installments, pay your installments, you gotta pay your installments, pay your installments. And when you have that going in your head, you will find practically no time or no quality time to spend with your children or your family members or even in your office or anything, you cannot have any relaxation. It's a constant botheration with you. You will have no relaxation, absolutely no relaxation. Is it, Kishan? Am I right? Only 100?
200.
So, this is a constant botheration that is going to haunt you for the whole life. And if you're not careful, it's very easy to get into this trap. It's very easy to get into this trap. Rinam krita pitri satru. So one who is taking loans, especially a father, he becomes, even though he is the most well-wisher of the family, he becomes an enemy at home actually. Because he has no time for anything else. Constantly he's got to do something. His mind is always working on
Loans.
pay the loans. So he compromises on you. So therefore, you start compromising on your human relationships. You look at everything as a way to save money. Kid comes and says, "Papa, give me a chocolate." He says, "Oh, here goes another some amount of money for my repayment or this that." So beware of these things. First, Rinam Krita, Trisattu. And if you have a Rina, it's going to be very difficult for you to chant Hare Krishna. If you're a debtor, it's going to be very difficult for you to chant Hare Krishna. Because even if you're chanting Hare Krishna, then what do you think? Krishna will remain outside externally, but loans, payments, installments. You find it very difficult to actually hold those beads, and your mind is just going to throb. It's going to throb again and again. Loans, payment, what am I going to do? So therefore, a person who takes loans, he says he's an enemy. It doesn't look like him, but actually it becomes, because he cannot actually work with him for the welfare of the family. First point, Matrisa Bhivicharini, mother who is not chaste. Unchaste women or mothers are second. They are an enemy at home. Unfortunately, today's world, it is such a dirty thing, but it is becoming such a common thing. Matrisa Bhivicharini, a mother who has a relationship with others or has attraction for other men other than her husband. In fact, a lady should not even talk with other men other than her husband. Because a lady cannot actually keep her balance. She is very easily, Srila Prabhupada uses the word seduced by others. Very easily. Misled by others. Very easily carried away by small things. And when she is coming out to the world outside and having to deal with people, and people, not all men are very polite and very gentlemanly and dealing with a lady like someone else's wife. And mind you, this is not something that we are only talking, so-called fanatic Hindus. It was even told by Jesus. It is in the Bible. It is in the Quran. He said, never look at another man's wife. Never look at another man's wife. You may find that if what I am speaking is a little odd, get into a job and you know what I am speaking. Get into the professional world and you know what I am talking about. It is becoming very, 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 very common. Are you prepared for it? And if you have such a thing happening in your house, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to chant Hare Krishna. If you have something like this going on, will you be able to chant Hare Krishna? What do you think? Or even if you have a doubt that something like this is happening in your house. Because nowadays some people say, well, what can you do? Just tolerate it. You can't. You can't. And it's not just the men, it's not the women. The men are also doing that. So, Matrisha Bhivicharini. Third, Bharya Rupavati Shatruhu. The wife who thinks a very beautiful wife is an enemy at home. Why? So, are we supposed to marry ugly girls? The question will come, are we supposed to marry ugly girls? The point is that when I gave this class once to in Belgaum Temple, a big congregation there. You know what one of the questions were? They wrote a chip to me when I said this. What do you call it? Bharya Rupavati Satru. A wife a beautiful wife is an enemy at home. You know what a chick came to me? Then what the hell are we doing in our houses? What are we doing in our house? Sitting in our house. The point is that a woman who thinks that she's beautiful and who actually is working, that she's bothered about her beauty and her care and looking all the time to be beautiful. She's so much in her bodily consciousness. She doesn't realize that beauty is only skin deep. And with that kind of a consciousness, she's going to ruin the house. And if you have a woman like this, she's always conscious about her body and beauty and this and that, and trying to absorb. She's going to absorb everyone in the house in that consciousness. And when you have a person like that all the time in a bodily consciousness, in the bodily level, it's going to be very difficult for you to chant Hare Krishna. Especially your own wife. She's really into her looks and into her thing. And you got to be really, really careful now. Who's going to get attracted to her? What's going to happen? Should I take her out or not? What happens next? If she happens to go out and work, then what happens with you? And again, beauty is skin deep. So she's going to get frustrated trying to be beautiful. And with that frustration, that's going to come in the house. A lot of money is going to be spent to keep beautiful. Are you prepared for it? And chant Hare Krishna. This is all a part of spiritual realization. We are not this body. Our beauty, our health is also skin deep. Similarly, a woman. Actually, to speak frankly, certain things are necessities in life. Food is necessary in life. Sleep is necessary in life. Water is necessary in life. Shelter is necessary in life. Clothes are necessary in life. Education is a necessity in life. Without it, it's very difficult to live in this world. But, frankly speaking, association with a woman is not a necessity in life. It is a luxury in life. You don't really need to complete your life. But it is a luxury. It is the sense gratification of life. You gratify yourself. You don't really need it. You can do without it. But we make it into a need. So it's okay. It is allowed. Some level of, therefore we have the Vivaha Sanskar. Get married to a woman. If you want to associate with her, get married to her. Take responsibility. Don't just do it on every street corner. Like a dog. So what we are talking about is, if people think that they are this body, Srila Prabhupada used to say, I don't know if you heard this, women are less intelligent. Prabhupada used to say this, women are less intelligent. And then, the devotees at that time, they came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, are women less intelligent? Prabhupada said, women are less intelligent. So Prabhupada said, if you think you are a woman, you are less intelligent. Because you are not a woman. So a person who is in the consciousness of the body thinking, I am a man, I am a woman, is less intelligent. And especially one who's thinking the beauty, the fleeting beauty that she has is actually very important, is even more less intelligent. And if you are associated with such a person, you are really unintelligent. So never get attracted to the skin, the superficial beauty of a person. We have to get attracted to the character, the beautiful character of a person. You should understand that it is the character that makes a person beautiful. It is not the skin. We've had people in our class and different places like that. The person just got burned by acid or something like in the lab. We used to do chemistry and then something burst out. She got burned. And then it was very difficult, She was beautiful to get. And next day onwards, even one little spot. And sometimes you see women get caught up, little spot here, little spot here, some black thing here. They say, it's really good. Because you are a body consciousness of life. And the fourth is Putra Sutru Abandita. A son will be an enemy at home who is foolish. Who is a fool? Vidya Vinaya Sampande Brahmani Vabhyastini Suni Cheva Subhakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Who is a Pandita? One who sees everyone equally. Whether it's a dog or a cow dog eater or an elephant. He sees everyone equally, but because he doesn't see the body, he sees what moves the body. What is that force that moves the body? Like we say, he's dead. Who's dead? Why is he dead? I used to live in that in a hospital in Bombay for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, midnight at night, you hear, Kuthegala, Baba, Kuthegala, Kuthegala. She'd beat her chest again and again. Someone, beat her. Baba, Kuthegala, Kuthegala, Kuthegala. It's there. And the body is still there. But what is gone?
So,
but we never met the soul. We never saw the soul. We only see the body. So, a person who does not understand this is a fool number one. So such a fool, if a son is a fool like this, then he's an enemy at home. So the job of the father actually is to educate the son so that he doesn't remain a fool. And if he doesn't educate, then he's making an enemy at home. Eventually such a person will ruin the family and ruin everything. He'll ruin his own life also. So what my point is, please try to understand that to do spiritual life, you all will have to be very alert and educated. And times are challenging in front of you. Challenging times are coming in front of you. So you have to get prepared. Spiritual life requires discipline. And spiritual life will help you also. Because of the Bhagavad Gita, knowing the Bhagavad Gita nicely, you will prepare yourself for a very difficult life. And not just that, you have to have a very strict, disciplined life yourself, especially connected with spiritual life, so that you do not fall down. And you associate with such things, you know something, but with constant association with such desires or such people or such kind of atmosphere, you tend to fall down, you tend to glide down gradually without you realizing it. So therefore we have the ABCD of spiritual life. Always keep in association with devotees. Make sure wherever you are, try to keep in association with devotees. A, for association. Always remember, second, B, books. Spiritual books, scriptures, but always have scriptures, always read. Chanakya Pandit says, your life is wasted if you don't read a verse every day. If not a verse, at least one line every day. Half a verse. If not a whole verse, not a half a verse, at least one word from the scripture you should read every day. Otherwise your life is wasted. Why is he saying that? Because there is a tendency for us to slip down. And these scriptures help us to keep up, keep abreast. And most important thing is to keep our senses under control. See, there will be times when you see that things are not going the way it should be, and you get angry. That is again a very dangerous thing. Why do we get angry? Because things are not going the way I want it to go. Therefore Krishna says, Bhita raga bhaya krodha manmayama upashrata bahuva gajana tapasa puta madhava mahagata. Bhita raga bhaya krodha. Raga is attachment, bhaya is fear, and krodha is anger. Until and unless one is freed from these three, he says, one cannot come to me. So therefore, please try to understand that you all are going to, you have to prepare yourself now. I don't know how much time you have, but you have to prepare yourself in such a manner that you will face the challenges of life. And not just that, you have to give this to others. To your family members, to your relatives, to your friends, and even other people altogether. You have to give this to others. You should practice it yourself and also share it with others. Then you will be doing some good to this world. Otherwise, what is the use of our life? Why have we lived in this world? Just to earn money? Just to fill up our belly? No. To share it with others. So, A, B, C is chanting. That is something, these things you should never give up. Every day, that will keep you in your balance. Understand, see things properly. We had one boy here in our BYS Manipal. He's still in touch with me, calls me up now and then. The other day, it was, what do you call it? Guru Purnima? No, Guru Purnima, Vyas Purnima. You know, they have it, in the summer they have it, Guru Purnima. She called me up, some long distance. She says, Prabhu, I'm trying to call you from last 2-3 days, but I just somehow got to speak to you today. Prabhu, I just called to say thank you. Because this is Vyasa Purnima, Guru Purnima. Because whatever little things that you told me in those days, it is those things that are helping me today. He says, when you used to tell me in Manipal that, there are only 4 things in life: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. I said, I could understand the first 3. Eating. He says, that was my favorite thing. Always eating. He says, sleeping, of course, colleges I had missed so many classes because I was always sleeping. And mating, of course, everyone is after that. I would always think in Manipal, what is this defending? I'm having a good time. What is this defending? He said, now that I have a family, I have a child, I have my house, I have my business, and this and that. He says, my full time goes only in defending. My full time goes in defending. I defend my car, I'm defending my position, my property, my wealth, my children, my family, my health, my this, my that. He says, my full time goes in defending. He says, everything that you told us in Manipal, he said, I remember them now again and again. I said, if there's any life that I want, he said, I want to come back to Manipal and be with BYS. He said, at that time I couldn't stay in the BYS Manipal house. We had that time. We were staying in Saravittu at that time. And of course in other places also, Haripriya, Haripriya, that's right. No. Indrali. Okay. So I just think that if I get a chance again, I'd like to come and stay in those places again. Because it's so difficult in this world outside today to live. And if we could get some more of this information and inputs, then we'd be so happy to live like that. So take advantage, because what you have here is what is going to be the foundation. He says, I learned how to behave with my father who is retired. Because when fathers are rich and in good positions, they are very, in their good elements. But when they retire, they don't know what to do. You will also retire. You know what to do. He was telling me, I would have probably gone bonkers the way my father's behaving after his retirement. No, because after retirement, a very big position, and he goes, then what happens to you? You feel kind of like a vacuum. A very big post in some place, and then you retire, and it's like a big vacuum. The man, he has, till the day before, people are saluting him, you know. Yes sir, yes sir. The day he retires, no one bothers. No one bothers. So similarly, this is all things that you can prepare yourself. This is what the Bhagavad Gita will help you to do. This is what the chanting will help you to do. This is what the association will help you to do. And the fourth thing is, of course, diet. It's the most important. You are what you eat. If you don't know what to eat and how to eat, then you will mess up your life. It's very, very important to know how you eat, when you eat, how much to eat, and what kind of foods to eat. The ideal is only eat Krishna Prasadam. That is what can be offered to Krishna, is the best food for you. It's the cleanest food for you. I'll tell you one thing that happened. Everyone knows Bharachandra? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you the story?
No.
He was traveling from Bombay to Pune. He was visiting some relatives at that time. And he was also preparing for his MHA. You know, he passed out his BE from here. On, what was the subject?
Biomedical.
Biomedical, yeah. So biomedical. I don't know if he told you the story. Anyway, there are repeats of this. Even this year, one person had the same incident as Bharachandra. He was traveling from Bombay to Pune in a bus. There is Asian buses that you get from Dadar to Pune, and it goes every 15 minutes. The bus to Pune. So he got into the bus, and then he sat with someone next to him, a very neatly, decently dressed boy sitting next to him. And then they were talking for some time, and this person, when he said first, he said, offered him a cigarette. He said, cigarette? He said, no, I don't smoke. He didn't smoke. After some time, this man took out a gudka and says, gudka? No, I don't take gudka. And like that, he's been offering different things to him. And then they came up to Lonavala, and this man has been talking about this and that, something this. And this man came up to Lonavala. So Lonavala, the bus stops for some time, and they get down and they relieve themselves and refresh themselves, and then they get into the bus. So both of them go down together. They went here and there, and then a little bit, and then they went into a shop. And this person in front of him bought a packet of biscuits. So when he bought a packet of biscuits, and then he offered it, you open it in front of him. In he said, biscuit. So he was feeling bad, and I've been refusing so many things that this man has given me. He's been so nice to me. So he ate a biscuit. And he woke up after 3 days. And luckily, I don't know how he reached, but he reached the Pune temple. He was dirty. 3 days. He says he doesn't know where he was. And he had to sit for an interview for the MHA interview that he was supposed to do. If he had slept one extra day, he would have missed his interview. For the MHA. Which he somehow, I don't know how, after 3 days of sleeping and being still drowsy and all that, he cleared that exam. Somehow Krishna helped him. But he says he doesn't remember anything. He just remembers that somehow, he says it was hot sun, he just remembers he was just probably walking. And walking and walking and walking. And biscuit did it. The guy was out for 3 days. Of course, it's pointless to say that he had nothing on his body. He had just his pant and his shirt, probably. That's all he had. Everything is his luggage, everything was stolen, including his spectacle that he was stolen. Now, this similar thing happened to another person in Belgaum. He was going for a marriage, and then he just went on an auto rickshaw. And he was somehow, because he was running here and there, he asked the auto rickshaw driver, "Is there somewhere I can get a glass of water?" Some water. He said, "Yes, sir, I'm getting it." And he immediately gave him a glass of water. He drank it, that's it. He woke up after 16 or 17 hours. They took everything from him, even his belt and shoes and whatever was there. Somehow he was lying on the side of the highway. finally somehow he was able to, he said, I couldn't remember anything. So then from this whole Bharat Chandra's issue and this other person's issue, Mr. Kulkarni's issue, take this lesson. Be very careful what you eat. In fact, don't eat anything that is not offered and which you're not sure about. Okay? And be very careful what you eat, because nowadays meat and non-vegetarian products are being mixed with everything. Even milk is being contaminated by all of this stuff. Your soaps that you use, be careful, read it properly what you're using. They're using tallow to make your soap. You know beef tallow? There's fat from the beef.
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste, toothbrushes. Be very careful with what you use. Because these things will contaminate your consciousness. If you don't have a proper diet, it's going to be very difficult for you to chant Hare Krishna. Okay? So chanting Hare Krishna is a very wonderful way to keep yourself from being infected. Remain sane. Understand the goal of life is not simply to eat, mate, sleep and defend. The goal of life is to obtain the mercy of thy Lord. Most important is that we will have no control over our lives. It's only about, say, 20 years of your life that you feel that you have some control over your life. After that, you will understand that you have very little control over your life. Old age will come, memories will fail, strength will go. It's going to be very difficult. If you have a disease as the old age goes, it's so difficult to recover. And as you grow older, your friends and everyone else will go. People will, as you, once you enter into a profession like you, also notice that you'll have friends only for money. So that is why, understand, spiritual life is something very essential for us. Chanting Hare Krishna is the main key to this whole spiritual life. So always remember to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Daily, make it a point. Don't miss this. To always chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, read these spiritual books, scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Chant the holy names and take Krishna Prasad as a diet. Keep Krishna Prasad as your diet always. It may be a little difficult, but you'll see in the long run, you will see you benefit from it. In the long run, you will realize, when you look back, like this boy who called me up on Guru Purnima, he said, Prabhu, with so many things that we've learned from you here, from us here in this BYS, he said, when I compare my life with the life of my friends or other relatives and my wife's relatives, he said, we are far better. We are far better. In fact, now, initially his wife was a little bit reluctant to fully cooperate with him. But, later on, she's saying that we were so lucky that somehow you kept doing this, And then now, he says, even in terms of your hospital bills, it's much less. Even in terms of your hospital bills, this is my child gets much less sicker. Because we don't give her all this kind of food and all this junk and things. He said, and we don't, even as husband and wife, he was telling me, he was frank, he said, even as husband and wife, we don't just associate as men and women. We just had a child, that's it. And that has kept us healthy. Whereas you compare it with the other people that I know, the other relatives and other people, he says they're getting all sick, they're getting old. Because this pressure is there. You cannot just waste semen and things like that are such valuable things. If you just waste it, you waste your whole brain, your whole age, you waste your ayu with that. It's a very vital fluid, it can give life. And if you just waste it like that, you're wasting your brains. So learn all these things. Learn all this. He says, he was telling me that I can tell you for sure that we are much more healthier than other people. We are not so agitated, and he said, one thing is that we have very few fights going. Because we don't look at each other only for the gratification at night. We don't look at each other for that purpose. Because of spiritual life, they practice chanting Hare Krishna, reading scriptures and all that. If you're looking for some gratification from the other person, and you don't get it, you start getting angry on the person. Anger starts from there. Avirodha priti, virodha yukta krodha. So when you don't expect any gratification from the person, then you don't have anger. Why do you have anger? So this manner, there's so many things that you can learn from the scriptures, and you can really become a wonderful personality. But utilize your time here. I tell you, once you get into a job, it's going to be very difficult to get into the habit of chanting and reading and getting into all these your dietary habits and everything. It really will be very difficult for you. Take care. Be open. Take care. Be disciplined. Be strict. Always live for some principles in life. A man without principles is a man without a backbone. You hold on to these principles, you are a strong person. No one can waver you. Even in companies and when you go to work anywhere, even in business if you join, you stick to your principles. There's no need to buckle down. There's always going to be, temptations. You'll always be tempted. Like Jesus was tempted by the Satan. You'll always be tempted by so many things. But be strict with your principles. It will protect you. Dharma rakshita rakshito. If you stick to your principles, the principles will protect you. If you stick to your principles, those principles will protect you. 4 principles always: no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. You maintain these principles in life, you will be very strong. 4 principles, always remember: no illicit sex. Don't think about anything. If you want to associate with a woman, get married and only associate with her. That's it. And that also association should be restricted only to procreation of children. You don't have to associate with other people. Don't try to be friendly and a popular guy with women. There's no need. You will weaken yourself. You don't have to do that. So, no illicit sex. There's no need to read, see, anything that promotes woman's body, the concept that woman's body is for enjoyment, reject it. Anything that promotes the concept that woman's body is for enjoyment or a man's body is for enjoyment, reject it immediately. It is not for enjoyment. As soon as you enjoy, you are asking for suffering. Your strength, vitality, fluid, energy, everything goes out of it. Even the thought of it separates the procreative energy from your blood. You can test it. Even the thought separates that sad, the vital energy, immediately separates from your blood. And if you don't use it, it just gets wasted and goes out in the urine. So no illicit sex, no intoxication. Any form of intoxication, you're had it. Even if tea and coffee are intoxicants, you have to struggle for it, but you should intoxication. Meat eating, meat, fish, eggs. Keep these things out. It's going to make you a strong person, because meat, fish, and eggs, they are not just nutrients. They interfere with your metabolism in your body. There's enough information on this. You can go anywhere and get it. How meat, fish, and eggs destroy you. And it's destroying not you, it's destroying the whole earth. The biggest pollutant is this meat industry. It's the biggest pollutant in the whole world. The biggest destroyer of the environment. it is the meat industry. In India, the egg industry is going very big and it's destroying a lot of things. So the meat industry is one of the biggest destroyers. So no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling, none of those speculative business endeavors to make easy money. Everyone today wants to work as least as possible, or practically no work and make money. Speculate. Let me invest money here, and money will grow, and I will take my profit and lead a good life. Anyone who thinks like that, you had it. You cannot chant Hare Krishna. You cannot chant Hare Krishna. Live with whatever your hard-earned work gives you. Honestly. It's a noble life. You don't have to speculate and get easy money. There's no need for any easy money. Live with what you get, with your hard work. Honestly, live. Live within your means. If you are poor, no problem. Poverty is not a crime. Corruption is a crime. Untruthfulness, cheating is a crime. But poverty is not a crime. To be poor, is it a crime? No. I am poor, I don't have money. But I'm not a criminal. I don't have money. I don't have any bank balance. I don't have anything. I don't have any proper place to stay. So being criminal and being poverty, people want to say that poverty-stricken people are criminals. Actually, it's not true. A poor person is not necessarily a criminal. And voluntarily be poverty, it's a very great culture. To voluntarily accept poverty, or not, I would not say poverty, but a lower standard of life. It's a very high concept. So therefore, accept these 4 principles. No gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no meat eating. Make these as the pillars of your life. Don't compromise on this. You have strength. And always, of course, to follow all these principles, the strength will come from your chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You get the strength. Sometimes we may not be able to follow. We may say, "Oh, I am able to follow only one principle, or I am able to follow 2 principles, or I am able to follow 2.5 principles. I'm able to follow 3.5 principles, or something like that." But if you keep chanting, and if you're eager to chant nicely, if you're very eager to chant nicely, then you will be able to follow these principles very nicely. So always be eager to chant Hare Krishna. The more eager you are to chant Hare Krishna, these other things will be very easy to follow, and you'll remain a very strong person. Okay, so I will just summarize what I said from the beginning again. 4 things, enemies at home. Rinam Krida, Pitri Satru. Loans, you become enemies. Beware of loans. Don't get into loans. Rinam Krida, Pitri Satru. A father who takes loans find very difficult. Rinam Krida, Pitri Satru. Matrisa, Vibhicharini. An unchaste mother or a woman is an enemy at home. Matrisa Vibhicharini. Harya Rupavati Sutruhu. A lady who thinks she's very beautiful is an enemy at home. Wife. And Putra Sutruhu. And then there's the A, B, C, D of spiritual life. Association. Books. Chanting. Diet. Remember Bharat Chandra's issue. And the 4th thing is this 4 principles. No intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex. Remember these 3 things that we talked about. First is 4 enemies. Okay. And the ABCD of spiritual life and 4 principles. Build your life on this. If you can keep these three things together, you'll make it in life. You will make it. Okay? So we will end here again, and thank you very much for inviting me for this nice Janmashtami festival. Very happy to be here with you, all of you. It's very happy to hear that you all had nice food distribution. Okay? Distribution is good.
Any questions?
Yes. Any questions?
Any questions anybody would like to ask, or any comments which people would like to make? People are welcome.
I would like, if we go at places where they intoxicate or eat meat or like other two things also, is it wrong on our part also if we don't practice or go? Like if I go to a restaurant, I'm eating outside, like for a change, my friends and everything. If I'm going, but I'm not taking meat, so is it wrong on my part?
You are opening yourself to what do you call it? Temptations. Okay. Secondly, a place where people eat meat and all that, actually in the heart of hearts, such people are not very compassionate. They've reduced their level of compassion, or what do you call it? Their ability to feel others' pain and pleasure greatly. By associating, jaise sang vaise raho. By associating with such people again and again, you will also tend to become such insensitive nature. We are not saying that you should hate such people, but it will be better for you if you again at the same time, we are not trying to disrespect them. You be cordial with them, be friendly with them, but you may not necessarily take their association. Rather, I would say, if you are really a person, you should influence them to change their habits. And I tell you, I used to work I used to go to university where 95% of everyone there was Christians, and Christian world there's a lot of meat eating and everything like that. I made it a point that I'm not going to step into their eating place, because it's just as soon as I step in, I see the chicken in there. I just see the suffering animal there. Or I see the goat, suffering fish, beautiful fish suffering there. I see that. I just don't take it. So I said very clearly, even my teacher, he said, you gotta come. We're gonna have a class. He was a really different-minded teacher. He would take us to the canteen and different places, and then so let's have a class there, over cups of tea or whatever it is, or over some lunch. And he would pay for it. He was a different kind of teacher. He said, I'll pay for it, let's go. But I refused to go. I said, sir, I won't step in there. It's not a place for me to go. Especially for, people in spiritual life, eating places are very kind of casual places. So I refused to step in. In fact, in the years later, he respected me so much for that. In fact, all my classmates respected me for that. They said, yes, this is a guy with principles. He's not lured by the tongue, he's not lured by the environment. He is a man of principles. So they can really, as the years went by, they really showed me a lot. I refused to go for any picnics. But I'm saying, I'm with you for everything else. If it's something to do with academic studies, I'm with you. But if you want me to go for that, initially I felt that I don't have friends, I'm left alone. But that really changed later on. I remember the day I finished my seminar, we were ending our semesters, all the semesters. Each one of them came and told me, says, we learned a lot from you. And they never said that in the whole, all the years that we had been together. But he says, we learned a lot. So we may think that it is a loss at one point, but actually you will gain if you can influence them. Your point should be, how can I influence them rather than being influenced by them? Because your principles are higher, right? So be careful. If you have to. It takes some guts to do it, but if you do it, you make it. Okay. Any other questions?
I would like to
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I would like to know like what is your history and how you got into this company.
Sorry, how?
How you got into the small thing and how you became from
How I came to ISKCON?
Yeah.
Well, I came into ISKCON in a pub. That's what it happened actually. It was I think a New Year's Eve, and we were out eating in some place, in some Chinese joint, and we were eating some noodles and things like that. And I was talking to my friend. He was not taking all that stuff. He just came to, I guess he just came to preach to me or something. We've been friends for more than, from childhood practically, we knew each other. But he came to Calcutta and he was introduced to BYS in Calcutta. And he came back and to our hometown. And then when he was there, he started talking to me about Krishna consciousness. I would always neglect him. He tried to bring me to Krishna consciousness for 2 years, 7 months. Hard try. He really never gave up. 2 years, 7 months, he was always behind me to, take up to Krishna consciousness. I always said, I have other things to do. But on this New Year's Eve, I remember it was there, and I was talking to him. I said, well, Paul, I think I need to get out of this city. I think I need to change. So what's happening? I don't know. I'm feeling just kind of frustrated. Everything. So I've tried everything that a man needs to do. I've had money. I've made my money. I've had business, and I had fame. What I needed, fame was coming my way. Then what else? What else you need? You need women, and that's also available. It's free world there. And I had good education. What do I need? But I somehow something's missing in my life. I think I need to come out of this. Maybe I should start my life fresh, go somewhere else and start it anew. So he said, look, since you had such a problem, I think you need to see a psychiatrist. I said, psychiatrist? What in the world do I need to see a psychiatrist? And in those days, going to a psychiatrist means you are
Married.
and you had it. So I said, psychiatrist. But then I started asking, where's the good psychiatrist? And he said, this way somewhere here. I said, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can go to a psychiatrist. So then he said, well, if you don't want to go to a psychiatrist, then why don't you try chanting Hare Krishna? I said, that sounds okay, because you can do it inside your own room, And I've seen him chant Hare Krishna, my friend. He has his beads and he sits in a room or something like that. That's okay, going to psychiatrist, people know that you're mad, so this is an easier way out to start chanting. So I broke into my father's room, He wasn't there, he had gone out. Because I remember in his drawer, he had kept a mala. This neem malas that we have, which used to have. Long, long ago, he had gone to Mathura. He had taken us to Krishna's Janmasthan. Long, when we were kids. And there he bought this neem mala, And it was always in his drawer, he never used it. So I remember that mala, So I broke into his room somehow, went to the ventilator and all that, and I took the mala out, and I put it in my pocket, and I go out walking in the evenings, So I started chanting Hare Krishna. And then I tried to read Bhagavad Gita, but no, somehow I was not able. Then I read Prabhupada Lilamrita, and that was it. 16 rounds from that time onwards. So I was studying at that time in the university. And then after reading Bhagavad Gita once, I came and I was in touch with Bhakti Raghava Maharaj. So I wrote to him, Maharaj, can I have 3 months with me? I finished my master's degree, and I have 3 months with me till my results come out. And after that, I thought I will go and do something, take up a profession. So can I spend 3 months with you? I kind of wrote to him. He said, okay, come over. So I came and joined him in that year, June. And so I'm still here. So that was it, basically. Not a very interesting one. Yes.
I wanted to know, like, if like people are working in Damodar Valley College, were they that bad in their previous lives also, or the subtle nature changes after rebirth?
Come again,
Like, if the subtle nature of a person changes after rebirth, like, if a person is bad, will he be bad or will he improve or change?
Oh, you can change. That is the perfect purpose of this human birth. Only in this human birth can you change your nature. It is the loop of karma, and the cycle of karma. There is a loop or a loophole in this human birth. In other births, you have no ways to change yourself. If you are a dog or a cat or a cow, you have very little ways that you can change. You are practically biologically controlled. It's only human birth that is given to you as a chance where with your intelligence you can change yourself. You can develop and change habits. So human birth, especially it is said in the Padma Puran, Aprarabdha phalam papam putum bijam phalam mukham Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam karmaneva praliyate. That only in this human birth can you even stop the cycle of karma. Prarabdha and aprarabdha karma both can be taken off, can be wiped out by Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam karmaneva praliyate. So all that can be, because basically karma or your nature is dependent on your nature and on your desires. And in human birth you can change your desires. You can have influence on your desires. So how to change desires is a process of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Alright. So what's the next program?
Like Aarti,
Okay.
and then we have Prashad.
Oh, okay. So there's nice prashad for all of you. All of you who have had.
We have one more question.
Guruji, what is the importance of learning Sanskrit?
Learning Sanskrit. Well, two things. One is that there is a conception in some people that if you know Sanskrit, you can know the scriptures. But nowhere in the scriptures it is mentioned that by learning Sanskrit you know the scriptures. It says that you can learn the scriptures only under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Only by the mercy of such a bona fide spiritual master can you learn the scriptures. Now, the purpose of learning Sanskrit is to defend the philosophy. Sometimes people will twist and turn Sanskrit words. Are very, you can twist and turn Sanskrit words this way, that way, interpret, misinterpret, and all that. So to help people from getting, diverting or something like that, it can help us. But primarily, spiritual realization comes from offenselessly chanting the holy name. Sanskrit may help in the process of creating an environment for us, because it being a very pure language, but it can also contaminate. In India, in Prabhupada's movement, we've seen people who've taken Sanskrit too literally, were unable to continue in their spiritual life because they got bewildered by Sanskrit. So, therefore, spiritual in scriptures it is said you can learn the deep meaning of the scripture, or the hidden meaning of the scriptures only from a self-realized person. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevena upadekshanti jnanam jnananis darshana. It's a very nice language. It's a perfect language. Grammar-wise, syntax-wise, and formation, everything is a perfect language. But the problem is that you have to understand that only from the spiritual master can you learn absolute truth, and by the pure chanting of the Holy Name. Otherwise, it is not possible. Pureness without making those 10 offenses is not. Okay? Thank you very much for tolerating me. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.